Welcome to the Kirkwood to Pear Area Chamber's Biz to Biz Adapting to Change webinar event. This multi-part series gives businesses and services from within our community an opportunity to share what they are doing to assure the safety of their employees, customers, and clients. This is our third webinar within this series. It's been interesting to hear how local businesses are adapting to changing needs and expectations. It's been rocky for some, much easier for others. But previous conversations have reaffirmed the priority of local businesses to address safety and other evolving issues, and their commitment to collaborate to support each other where needed. I'm Joan Pace of alwaysaboomer.com, presenting sponsor of Biz to Biz Adapting to Change. I write clear, concise, responsive copy for your marketing, website, blog, and fundraising needs. First, I would like to let you know that those participating in our audience today may ask questions of panelists. We would ask you to submit your questions via the chat option. And also, if you could make them as concise as possible. It can be a little harrowing to read long questions and also participate in the conversation. And of course, we'll get to as many questions as possible. Our moderator today will be Daryl Scott of Associated Bank, who's the chair of the Kirkwood to Pear Area Chamber's Board of Directors. But for now, the sponsor of this webinar, which will focus on office services, is Deanna Dougherty, Sales and Business Development Manager for Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. Deanna?
Joan, thank you so much, and thank you everyone for allowing us to be a part of this event in our new virtual world here. We're happy to be a part of it. We're happy to be a sponsor of it. And I do want to just take a brief moment and say we're really happy to be a member of the Chamber. This is such a great, engaged chamber, and we are thrilled to be able to be a part of something like this that is helping all of our businesses and our whole community through such a challenging time. So with all that said, let me tell you a little bit about Fairway as we're all navigating through this new world. So just a quick show of hands, who has done more Zoom calls in the past 2 months than the past 2 years? Yeah, pretty much all of us. Another quick show of hands, as we're all becoming experts with that, who knows someone who has bought a home during the pandemic? Yeah, quite a few people. It is absolutely amazing. The market continues to be on fire, and that is what we do, is we provide the financing for people buying homes. And so we really help make that happen. And it's such a exciting part to be a part of someone buying a new home. And everyone loves to get a mortgage, right? We're like the fun part of buying a new home. Yeah, I went to the dentist not too long ago, and I don't know, it's a toss-up, I think, on which you love more. Going to the dentist, no offense to my dentist, who is also a member of the chamber, or getting a mortgage. It's a very stressful process. And so we really work hard to make it a smooth and pleasant one. It's stressful for not only everyone involved in buying the home, but also for our team too, because we want to make sure that everything goes smoothly. So many of you know us from different chamber events and just getting involved in different things. And so I think you know that our team here really prides itself on our level of service. So we are really very focused on making sure that we are with our borrowers, our clients, every step of the way. And we really call it our hometown service. So it's a very personal experience to get a mortgage. And so we really help make sure that we are right beside you, making it go smooth. So today I thought I would share a little bit more about the company, the entire organization behind us. So like many companies, we have core values. And I want to share with everyone our core values. In fact, if I can share, bear with me a moment. If I can I share a screen? Joan, we'll try. I don't know if that's working. I feel like it's not. Hold on. Let me try it one more time. See if everyone can see this.
Good.
There, how's that?
Good, good.
These are our core values. And I wanted to share this because, you know, like many companies, we have core values, but we really live our core values better than any company I think I've ever seen. And how that makes a difference is the quality of our people and how we center everything around our borrowers. So helping someone buy a home is so rewarding. And one of the ways that we really demonstrate our core values is when we run into any kind of challenge, our question always is, do we make this easy for ourselves or do we make this easy for our client? And the answer is always, we make it easy for the client. And that's where we really focus on making that happen. That's what lets us do things like this. Help the young couple that just bought their first home, and we help them structure it so that they didn't have to bring any money to closing. How exciting is that? We recently helped a nurse who was a divorced single mom buy a new home after she was told by her credit union 10 days before closing that they weren't going to be able to get it done. And we were able to take that and get her in that home within those 10 days. We just helped a veteran build a new home, and he lost his job due to COVID, and we were still able to figure out how to make it happen. And when the house was built, he was ready and moved into that wonderful new home that was just built. We helped a couple buy a new home with baby on the way. They wanted to get in there before baby arrived. This was first child, and they hadn't sold their other home. So we helped them make sure that they didn't have a financing contingency so that they didn't have to worry about that in making their offer. And we have helped countless people map out a plan. And that's one of the things that we really enjoy doing. Map out a plan, whether it's increasing your credit or whether it is saving money so that you're ready. And we just helped a couple buy their home here in St. Louis that we started working with them in January of 2019. So we stay there the entire time. It's an absolutely amazing experience to help someone buy that home, and so rewarding. One other quick thing, though, I want to share with you is we are one of the top 5 lenders in the country. So we have an amazing depth of organization behind us, helping make that happen. And the best statistic I can share with you to really demonstrate that is on Zillow. Does everyone know Zillow? Everyone's looked up their own home on Zillow, of course, and probably their neighbors. We have a 4.97 rating on Zillow, but what we're really proud about is we have almost 23,000 reviews on Zillow, which is more than Bank of America, Quicken, and Wells Fargo combined. That's the organization that is behind the wonderful team of people that you all have gotten to know and work with. So, thrilled to share that with you, and we love being a part of this community and love being a part of this chamber. So thanks so much. Joan, back to you.
Daryl, I'll toss it on over to you now. Thank you. And thank you,
Great.
Dean.
Thanks, Joan. First of all, I'd like to thank our panelists today, Deanna Dougherty with Fairway, Elias Corpus with Mutual Omaha Advisors, Missy Shands Manning with Tucker Allen, Hardy Washington with State Farm Insurance, Andrew Wilson with Enterprise Bank and Trust, for participating in today's webinar dealing with office settings. The first question I'd like to throw out for the panel, and we'll start this off with Deanna, is how have your business practices changed since COVID?
Oh, not at all. You know, we've been really fortunate in that we already had a very strong technology platform. And so when the stay-at-home order came through, we basically were in the office one day, and the next day we said, okay, everyone stay home and start working from there. So it was very seamless from that perspective. What is certainly more challenging is just the dynamics of being on calls like this. You know, we're typically out in the community at different events and meeting with people. And so we've had to be very diligent about doing things like this, enhancing our Zoom skills, enhancing our digital, you know, on phone and computer communications to make sure that we are still staying in touch with our clients, our referral sources, who are, you know, just the lifeblood really of our business, and making sure that we can still serve them. Because for our real estate agents that we work with, you know, their world changed significantly. So showing a home, doing open houses, listing a home has changed a lot and had to move into that virtual world. So the ways that we support them had to change very significantly as well, in terms of providing more technology support and ability for them in terms of social media support and things like that to keep their reputation and their ability to stay out in the marketplace. So we've done a lot of that.
Okay. Elias?
Yeah, so I mean, I would agree with a lot of what Deanna just said. I mean, we, you know, for us, you know, we've been pretty virtual for probably the last year and a half, 2 years, as far as, you know, communicating with staff, you know, running meetings as far as our office with our advisors. So a lot of that really didn't change. It was, you know, what I've seen is really the biggest difference from us is, you know, getting our clients to adapt. You know, we work with a lot of senior clients, whether that's through retirement or through Medicare planning, et cetera. So getting them to adapt and be comfortable going through that type of system, that's probably been one of our biggest, I guess one of the biggest transitions and struggles for us is just that piece of it. But, you know, luckily I have some really good resilient advisors who do a really great job as far as educating their clients. So we were able to put together a nice form letter kind of explaining really kind of how the format works, you know, as far as where it stays in regards to compliance, confidentiality, et cetera. And that's helped, you know, get some of our clients to move the needle a little bit more. But I mean, really outside of having my front door now look like a COVID-19 advertisement, I mean, that's been just the biggest part of it, right? So we're practicing a lot of social distancing. For us in the staffing side of it, obviously we're limiting the amount of people coming in and out of our office. We're staggering office hours between myself and the rest of our staff, and just trying to stay responsible from our end. But, you know, it's allowed us, I think, to really look at things differently. I know we'll get to that, but you know, just staying connected with our business partners, our referral sources, and really staying connected with our clients and staying connected with each other and not letting ourselves kind of wander or be alone has been extremely helpful. So it's just heightened the awareness of making sure that we're staying connected and engaged in a lot of different areas.
Okay. Missy, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, so like Elias, we have a lot of elderly people who come to us for estate planning services. overall, our clients go from people that are just having babies to people that are over 100 years old. Most of the younger people have no problem adapting to virtual meetings, but we have a lot of elderly people who don't have internet access and don't want to have internet access. So it's been very interesting trying to work with them because we are a very, the legal field is very intimidated. So it was always come into our office, sit down, we'll have an initial meeting, and then you'll come back, they'll sign in front of 2 witnesses and a notary. So it's been a huge change for us. Fortunately, we've been able to work with most of our clients. So we do a lot of initial consultations on the phone if they can't do a virtual one. And then now we do drive-up signings. So I don't know much if you guys do notarization, but we have to have in-person witness notarization. We have to see each other. So what the people do now is they come and drive up to our office and park in front of our window, and we watch them through our window into their car window, signing the documents, and then they put them back out there and we run out. So it's a lot of rigmarole, but we've made changes and it seems to be working pretty well. And it's even a little bit more efficient this way to just do a drive-up signing since they review everything in advance and there's less questions. It's just gets it done really quickly. So that's been great. Our office wasn't really set up well for COVID and social distancing and all that because we have little cubicles that don't go all the way up. So everyone's got to wear masks or we work from home when we can, but we have a lot of in-person consultations too. Another thing that very much surprised me is we had a lot of clients who don't believe in coronavirus. So they aren't interested in wearing masks and they tell me I don't have to wear my mask. And I'm like, okay, well, I have to wear my mask. That's our company policy. We've still got to do this. We throw away pens. If they don't take their pens home with them, we throw them away instead of sanitizing them. And I don't know, it's just been, there's a whole variety of people who are terrified to leave the house to are downright aggressive about not wanting to deal with coronavirus safety precautions. So it's been very interesting navigating that. Our clients have been great, putting on their masks when we ask them to and all that good stuff, but it's been an interesting journey.
Oh, thank you. Hardy, I would think it would be kind of a challenge and interesting for you, especially if you're dealing with a claim.
Well, I mean, I'll address that too. And again, good morning, everybody. And, you know, as far as our business practices, and I believe in showing props, but the biggest change for us has been this and this. And the reason is because we are definitely trying to keep our clients safe as well as my employees also. And so like Elias, we've got signs out front basically saying, hey, if you have any policy questions or if you have any type of claim questions or if you need to visit with us, we're available, but we just haven't had anyone come in at this point. And until we get our arms wrapped around what's going to happen, it's probably going to remain that way. My team worked remotely some days, and then some days they came in, and that worked out great. And I think for our businesses, the big difference that I see for this panel, our products are intangible. I mean, we're all in the service industry. I mean, you can't sleep, Fairway, you can't drive, Andrews Bank, you can't eat, attorneys. I mean, well, you know, you're not supposed to. So being the case, it really gives us somewhat of an advantage, I think, because we can do a lot of work that we've done in the past with technology, with Zoom now. We can, you know, we can talk to clients not only here, but abroad. And I think the biggest thing that I've gained is with the Zoom, we're probably going to continue using it even after we go back into our offices because it's great. You know, I'm able to, there's clients now that I may have talked to over the phone, but I've never met. And now I get to see them, they get to see me, and we're connecting, we're reconnecting. So for us, it's just a matter of making sure that, first of all, we're being safe. We're making sure that our office environment is being productive. And most importantly, just continue to drive our service levels because that's the most important piece because now is the time a lot of our clients are at home. Your clients are at home and they got time and they're reviewing policies, they're reviewing coverages. And now's the time to step up all our game to make sure that we're there and we're servicing and being available. So I think that for us has been probably our biggest change, if you will.
Okay. Andrew, how have things changed over at Enterprise?
Hey, good morning, everybody. Thanks, Daryl. So Enterprise Bank is fundamentally a conservative and relationship bank. So to answer how our business practices have changed most concisely would be, firstly, is they haven't. You know, particularly for myself working with our small businesses, it was, and will be our primary objective to see our clients be as successful as possible. The long-winded answer about how our business practices have changed might go on a little lengthy. About how the bank, you know, most of our employees are now working from home. We've put in, you know, a number of physical aspects, just like all the other panelists have talked about in our branches. You know, and so it's our biggest shift has been how we're able to and how we're continuing to work with clients through this time that's been unprecedented. Most of the small businesses that we're working with are working through some of the biggest problems that the business has ever faced in its history. And it's been quite an honor to be able to be an advisor for those businesses and to continue to help see many of those businesses continue to thrive and shift in this crazy time.
Okay. Well, I know for myself, it's been starting a new job. It's been actually pretty good, considering that 2 of my days a week are over in Fairview Heights, and normally it would probably take me almost an hour to get to work. But because of COVID, there's less traffic, so I can make it there in 30, 35 minutes. And also, I guess the challenge also has been is getting out to meet the new clients that I've inherited from my predecessor. And most of them it's just been great doing Zoom meetings, and some is simply just being in the parking lot meetings. You go outside and you sit there and talk to each other in the parking lot, and that's been great. And I see also it allows you, Andrew, to grow a beard and shave it off. And
that was a bit of a protest of mine against COVID, but apparently and unfortunately, COVID prevailed against my facial hair.
Well, the next question. Go ahead.
I was going to say, it's been, you know, relationships in my world has been, of course, secondary to COVID being the hot buzzword is relationships. It's how we can, you know, grow closer with our existing clients, continue to develop relationships with new clients, and family and friends in the chamber, and continuing to see everybody help each other. You know, and this kind of this panel and this web series is a perfect example.
Great, thank you. Next question for the panel is, where have you found advice along the way, and where were there are opportunities for you to offer support to others? And we'll start this off with Elias.
So, you know, a lot of the different things that have kind of happened, I guess, on my end with this and advice is, you know, luckily for me, you know, I have a lot of mentors that are in our industry, a lot of people who consider themselves to be an essential. And I spent a lot of time probably at the very first beginning of all this, just picking brains, just as far as, you know, how are you guys operating with your office? You know, what are you getting rid of first? You know, how are you communicating this to your clients to let them know kind of what's going on, to really give me more of a format, because, you know, the hardest part is that you don't have a written plan, you know, and everything happens in March, right? And pretty much everything changes within 2 weeks. There's not a diagram that we've ever gotten through, you know, with this before. So I did spend a lot of time up front just really just identifying ways, and, you know, worked with my team to develop, you know, kind of just a COVID-19 plan. You know, the things that really are the top priorities for us, the things that we need to make sure are getting done. You know, how we communicate was very important, and how we continuously communicate is what I found to be the most important aspect of any of this is the communication side to how we are adapting, how we're moving forward, and keeping the vibe positive, overall, and not just going to doom and gloom and shutting everything down and say, well, we don't know what to do with it. In addition to that, the opportunities that we're offered to be able to offer support, one of the things that I would say, within our industry is the fact that we're still hiring. When everybody else was going through the furloughs and laying people off, and just really a lot of uncertainty around of employment, we were still the cheerleaders in the back saying that we're still hiring. We're looking at bringing people on and trying to find those opportunities. To the point that earlier when all this was going on, I partnered with Mike Swale through Fairway, and then Andrew from Martha's Hands partnered with them. To find out, do they have opportunities that they're hiring for? We've done that a couple of different times, throughout, with other local partners who are also looking at bringing in employees. But we've done it through referrals. We've done it through, everything else that we're trying to get people back into the job market as much as possible. In addition to that, what I found at the very beginning, that the most important thing that we could possibly be to anybody was a resource. And that was either a resource from, conversations around employment, resources in regards to their insurance or their financial planning, obviously, telling people that if you did get furloughed, don't touch the 401k, leave it there, don't be paying all the tax, so trying to be just a really good resource overall, I think is one of the parts that really helped us in the very beginning, keep a lot of leverage through this and be still in a lot of conversations, because that's what we're all, right? I mean, Hardy, you mentioned it earlier, we're in the service industry. And, and our number one job during hard and tough times is not to be 100% in sales mode. It is, how do we be a resource and bring additional value outside of maybe what you would typically expect? But how can I be that provided resource and that partner for you, regardless of what it is you need? Maybe you just need a sounding board. So that's really what we did. And that was part of our overall, I guess, COVID-19 plan. So if we have COVID-20 or COVID-21, it'll just be readapting that and moving forward based off the new time.
Okay. Thank you, Andrew. I'm sorry, Elias. Missy?
You're welcome, Hardy. Daryl.
So on our end, where we were getting a lot of our advice is we belong to a number of estate planning, Missouri-centered networking sites and stuff like that. So we were getting a lot of advice on how to handle things with our clients and what advice to give out to our clients based on communicating with other law firms out there. And based on that advice, we decided not to go through and do waivers for clients that came into our offices. The general consensus was that waivers are not particularly enforceable. They're not a great resource. And then a lot of times people were reusing the same pens to sign the waivers, so you're communicating coronavirus anyways. So we learned about that and drive ups through our networking resources. And then on the legal side, we've been helping out other people by trying to explain the importance of getting your estate plan in order and getting a HIPAA waiver on. So that way, if you're in the hospital, no one can come and see you. Your HIPAA waiver lets people call in and say, how's my mom doing? Is she getting any better? Is there a procedure in her future? What are the chances of success? Getting a healthcare power of attorney on file so that if you contract COVID, someone can make healthcare decisions for you when you're incapacitated. So we've been doing a lot of education and resource sharing about how all of this is affecting our clients and what they can do to make things better.
Okay, thank you. Hardy, same question.
When I look at advice, I guess I always have tried to look at myself as a lifelong learner, so I'm always asking questions. And after 30 years with State Farm, I still ask to make sure I'm crossing T's, dotting I's. And the one thing with me is, especially with State Farm, I have really two resources for now is, other agents that are out there that have been around as long, but most importantly for the new agents who have been around 1 or 2 or 5 years, because they know technology. They probably think I'm archaic, because I still use a Franklin binder where they said you don't need paper. But again, that's what I use because it's effective. So you always have to be, willing to listen to folks that can help you. And the other piece is everybody, and I think we all have said this, the chamber, the resources. I've talked to Terry about a lot of different things with Boys Hope, Girls Hope, and taking actual ideas and concepts back to my office. that have helped me to implement. So the chamber's a resource, and again, continue with my props. You know, I've got my chamber shirt on, I've got my State Farm. So there's my resources, because without you all, I would be put in situations where, and I've shared this before, when I refer you, you do a great job, fantastic. I may not hear from that client. They may say, you know, and as long as it goes well, that's okay. But if you mess it up, I will hear back from them. So you're my resource. And that's why I depend on you, because I know I'm gonna see you on Zoom, I'm gonna see you downtown, or I'm gonna see you at a chamber meeting. And I'm gonna say, hey, how was that referral? Or how was that client? And vice versa. So that's what we have. And that's what the beauty of this whole event today is. It's about just sharing resources, sharing information, and really depending on each other to make not only our clients happy, but to continue to build our businesses so we can continue to give what we do from a service level.
Thank you. Andrew, same question.
I think the kind of the theme to me is relationships. The cornerstone in any relationship, whether it's a marriage, whether it's with a friend, whether it's with a vendor or a colleague, or, you know, in my case, particularly important with your bank, but it is communication. It's being accessible. It's being responsive. It's being that resource and that sounding board that everybody else is kind of talking about. That you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be specifically a banking question. I want to be a resource for my clients, you know, whether it's a referral or, you know, they just have a question that I might be able to answer. It's that type of communication, that level of relationship that I think, you know, the more we can all strive to achieve with clients, chamber members, friends, and family, will only continue to make us all stronger and more successful, particularly in this time.
Thank you. Deanna, where have you found advice along the way, and were there opportunities for you to offer support to others?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's been said. I mean, it was immediately reaching out to other Fairway branches to find out what they're doing throughout our own organization, reaching out to chamber members, finding out what they're doing, what's going on. You just start having the dialogue. We belong to a trade association, the Mortgage Bankers Association, so finding out what the industry as a whole is doing. Our organization brought in a lot of different speakers and did similar events like we're doing now, just in terms of talking about what's going on and making sure everyone is staying educated. You know, the situation, especially in the very beginning, was evolving very rapidly. So there was a lot of trying to make sure everyone is informed and understanding what's happening. And then you reach out throughout your own network. A couple of things we did specifically was really reaching out and having conversations with our referral partners to find out what they're doing, what do they need, how can we help them through this situation. As I mentioned earlier, for us, our realtors world was changed a lot. And so for us, reaching out to each one of them and finding out what can we do, because for every individual, that answer is a little bit different. We also serve the healthcare industry, and so reaching out to them as well. You know, what can we do? How can we help? We did do a mask initiative also. So we got a group of sewers together and we sewed face masks, not me, but the group that we enlisted, and we had reached out to chamber members on that also, and there were a number that stepped up to help us with that. So even doing things like that just to help the larger situation, and just, I think, really help the overall sense of, hey, we're all in this together. It's going to be okay, and we're going to move forwards. We just felt was really important to make sure that we are continually messaging that and really helping people move forwards. You know, there's life goes on, no matter what gets thrown at us, and we have to keep moving forward and help each other through it.
Okay. Thank you, Deanna.
Mm-hmm.
What is a silver lining or a glass half full view for your business, or is there? And we'll start this off with Missy.
Sure. Well, not unexpectedly, an estate planning business is doing fabulously during a pandemic. Everyone's concerned about their estate plan, getting it updated, getting healthcare documents in place. So we've had an outrageous amount of business, and we're very fortunate in that regard. Many people are struggling along, but we're in a business that thrives on chaos. So we've been doing really great. Yeah, it's been a struggle, but business is up.
Oh, good. Glad to hear it. Hardy? Is Hardy still there? Okay, let's move on to Andrew. You'd like to answer the question?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, there you are.
I had it on mute.
There he is.
Okay.
No, what I was saying, the silver lining for me, I could go on forever, but it's my team. I mean, that has been the nucleus with Margie and Lynn and Marion and Carol. We're a group of 5, and we're staying active. And with insurance, I mean, fortunately, again, in an industry where, you know, you may cut back on certain things, you may not go to a restaurant here or there, or you may forego that vacation for now, but go later, or you may hold off on those Louboutins, is it Louboutin shoes or whatever those shoes that you ladies wear. But insurance is something that, you know, if something happens, if there's a claim, if there's a natural disaster, if there's a loss, we want to keep the promise. You know, we help our clients manage the risk of everyday life, recover from the unexpected, and realize their dreams. And so hopefully we'll continue to be viable and be there when you need us, because I would imagine tonight when you go home and with your families and you're having dinner and you're sitting there watching hopefully a Cardinal game, or now that we're playing, or you're sitting there reading at the dinner table, I'm sure insurance comes up every time, right? That's the first thing out of there. Like, hey, let me talk to you about insurance. It's not something that is discussed a lot of times, but when you need us, hopefully we're there for you. So, and the last thing I want to say is I think about the lady that clients after 30 years, you've got clients that have been with you for 30 years. And I think about that client that lives, you know, in a home, whether it's in South County or North County or North City or out in, you know, Potosi. And she's 85 years old and she's in bed, she can't sleep. She gets out of bed, she puts her robe on, she puts her glasses on, she walks downstairs, and she turns on a little teapot and she's getting ready to make some tea. And all of a sudden she thinks, boy, I need to start looking at taking care of my bills and taking care of finance. And she goes through and she looks through her bills and she sees that gas bill and she takes care of that. She sees that electric bill, she takes care of that. And then all of a sudden she pulls out her State Farm policy that's renewing. And right then and there, she's making a decision. She's saying, is the value of that office and Hardy, Washington, that team, is it worth another 6 months? Or Otto, is it worth another year? And I hope she would say yes. Now, I'm at home asleep, and she's making this decision. So that to me is the silver lining. If we can continue to add value and continue to let our team, our clients know that we do care. As the saying goes, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. That's the silver lining.
Oh, great. Thank you. Andrew?
Yeah, pretty much to borrow Hardy and continue his conversation. It's really about you know, what your clients are saying about you when you're not there. It's, you know, it's making sure that that the work that you're doing and everybody and the advice that you provided is sound and is in, you know, and is relevant to our clients when we're not talking to them in person. So I think while there's been many restless late night and sleepless nights for everyone in this crazy time, It's for me, it's been, you know, kind of fulfilling and rewarding. The silver lining that the shift that Enterprise Bank has been able to make to, you know, to allow people like myself to continue to provide top-notch service and communication to clients and prospects and new clients, and really without a shift. A lot of people, a lot of businesses, they weren't able to have those relationships and those conversations with people who should have been trusted advisors for them. So it's really allowed kind of my fundamentals and the fundamentals of Enterprise Bank to truly kind of show their colors.
Thank you. Deanna?
Yeah, a big silver lining for us. I mean, we are just super, super busy, which is just a great blessing. The market has remained very strong. Interest rates have gone even lower, which really lights our business up like crazy. You know, before the pandemic started, Mike Swaley had hair. So much business, which really is just a huge opportunity for us. And I think we really are making a very conscious choice to make sure that we stay very focused on serving the purchase business with people buying homes. You know, there's a ton of refinancing happening also, but during this time, we've got to make sure that our referral partners are taken care of, because they're also in a whole new world, in a whole new dynamic. And I think it is, as I think several have mentioned, it's about those relationships and making sure that we are a resource for them and that we are helping them grow their business, helping them accomplish their goals. And our business will just continue to grow as a result of that. So we just see a huge, huge silver lining.
Yeah, thank you. So Hardy, your staff consists of 4 women?
Yes.
Okay, that explains the pink shirt then. Well, now we know why.
It's actually red, my friend, but that's okay.
Well, on my screen it looks pink. But anyway, getting to you, Hardy, the next question, let's start up with you. What do you need from the chamber or local, state, or federal government to ensure your viability?
And first, Deanna, I can appreciate my guy's hair. I mean, hair is a good thing. Okay, so that's all right. If he's losing it, he looks good bald, so that's all right. So really, I think I've shared that. I mean, I just need you all to be there when I call on you. I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean, my business is driven by the fact that I pretty much tap in pretty much all the industries when it comes to the trades out there, whether it's electricians or plumbers, or if it's someone that needs someone to come and stay at their home, or if it's someone that needs a mortgage loan. And that's pretty much it. I mean, the chamber is my resource. I spend a lot of time, resources, and I think it was, I can't think of the guy's name, Saturday Night Live, I think his name was Garrett Morris, and he was, he did this caption where he was this baseball player, and he would always say, baseball's been very, very good to me. Well, the chamber has been very, very good to me, not only as a resource, but has helped me to learn a lot, to become not only a better business owner, but socially and connecting. And the one thing that I value is the training, the classes we've had. I'm fortunate because I got Margie, who is the guru when it comes to Facebook and social media type events, Instagram. You know, as a 30-year agent, I mean, I still remember using microfiche. And now I'm connecting with young consumers in other parts of the world through Facebook and through Zoom. So I would just say, chamber, continue to add the value that you have and educate me, because I will never stop learning. And that's, and everybody on this screen and all those who may be a part of the chamber, you're going to be my resource, my #1 resource. And so far, you haven't failed me.
Thank you. Andrew?
For me, I would really like to salute the chamber. I think the chamber has done a fantastic job in the past and in shifting to provide value and resources and wisdom and insight and connections as best as humanly possible or virtually possible in the past few months. So great kudos to our organization, and of course the next layer under that is the organization is supported and functions with these wonderful people that we're all getting to see this morning. So for me, my ask, I guess, or my desire for the chamber would be, please use me as a resource as much as you can. Feel free to call and ask. Please let me know what I can be doing to help you. Of course, it's my goal to stay in contact with everybody and continue to know what resources I can provide, or what wisdom or what help I can provide from my vantage point. But I think it's these connections and being able to lever the wisdom and experience and the networks of everybody here.
Great. Thank you. Deanna?
Yeah, I'm going to take this a little bit in a different direction. I think it's really important for all of us as business leaders in the community to make sure that we are supporting the efforts of our government at all levels. And, that, I think that unity, regardless of what our beliefs are, who we like, who we don't like, I think it's a time for us to unite and make sure that we are doing what we can and following the guidance that we're getting in order to get everyone through this. So I think as we get into, we just did, I think, the rollback yesterday or the day before here in St. Louis County back to 25% opening, I believe. I think we've got to make our voices heard, but we've also got to align with the decisions and help support them so that we all move through this together as painlessly as possible.
Right. Thank you. Elias?
Sorry. So the question is the need for the chamber. Is that the question?
The question is, what do you need from the chamber or
Gotcha.
local, state, or federal government to ensure your viability?
Okay. So I'm gonna kind of combine two different things, just real quick on it. So here's what I've noticed really the biggest piece through all this, right? So I'll kind of give you my silver lining of the aspect of that as well. But I think the chamber has done a tremendous job, as far as really rising to the occasion, and really finding, good, valuable content to keep in front of members, right? I mean, I think during all these, again, the biggest silver lining I think we can all take away from this, and I think Terry, asked the question in chatter about how has it changed our perspective in regards to developing relationships. And I think what that comes down to is really identifying other people's value, understanding how to leverage people better as resources, how to pull in a Hardy Washington, how to pull in Joan Pace or Andrew or whoever that may be. Utilizing Gary Sibbitt's David Letterman impression, amazing, right? So you identify all these different things that people really have as value, and to me that's been the biggest takeaway that I've had. Is I've got to spend some time with a lot of people on this screen that I haven't really spent that much time with in the last 4 or 5 years. And it's amazing. It's really, truly amazing what value that people can bring as long as you're looking for it differently. And I think that's really what it's allowed us to do. So, I mean, in addition to, I guess, what I need, I don't know if there's anything that has not been provided that I'm looking for that I'm missing and void. Again, I think the chamber has done a tremendous job as far as putting a lot of this stuff in front of us. I think, between a lot of the people within the chamber, has really rise to the occasion in a lot of different ways, whether that was with the transition to website, to whatever that is to provide additional value. It truly has been amazing, to see that all the way across the board. So, yeah. So, I don't know if there's anything that I additionally need. Just, I think more communication with great people is always a thing. And Terry mentioned before she left, the positivity of the group today and what's provided as insights. I think we just need more of that collectively. So I would be interested in, success stories. I'd be interested in like the chamber posting some successes that are happening in the community. Some of the different things that are going there to kind of keep that positive momentum going and showing that even in times like these, we still can rise and we're still dominating everything that's going on, and we're figuring it all out. And I think that's probably one of the biggest and most important things that I don't think we get all the time. So finding ways to remain positive and keeping those positive feels, those positive vibes out in front of everybody in the community, I think is very powerful.
Okay, thank you. Missy?
So I want to thank the Chamber for continuing to provide all these networking opportunities and these learning opportunities like this one today. That's been really great and really helpful, and I hope that this continues going forward. And one thing that I think that's really important right now is continuing to make referrals. We have our Young Professionals Networking group that's doing really great. We've been making a lot of progress there. So even though we're constrained by the coronavirus situation, we can't see people in person, there's been so many opportunities coming forth from the Chamber to continue to make referrals and continue to make connections and continue to grow our businesses and help each other out. So things have been doing really good so far with the Chamber, and I hope that it just continues. That's all.
Thank you. We do have one question. I'm sorry, Terry's not around I think she had to leave. Has limitations that COVID has presented helped you really hone in on what is most important in building relationships? And we'll start this off with Hardy.
It has, because I think all of us are talking from the perspective because we have our businesses and we're able to still operate even throughout this new normal, as we call it. So what it has really done for me is to become more intentional, to make sure that I may have that restaurant that's right here in Kirkwood that I normally would go in and sit down and have that lunch, but now they're having carryout. So I make sure I do that. I make sure I still try to provide that service or that opportunity as a customer to them so they can continue their business. And then it could be even the companies that you deal with. I become more intentional to make sure that, I'm blessed. I thank the good Lord every day to be able to serve my clients and be a part of this chamber in Kirkwood. But we got to realize there's still businesses out there that they're hurting right now. And, I always tease Mindy Queen, if I had hair, I'd be there every day getting my hair done and shampooed and all. But I can send her referrals and I can send people to her. And so that's what we really need to do. And that's what we try to do, is make sure we're very intentional to make sure that we're not missing those businesses that aren't the intangibles, but they are the tangibles where they need us there one way or the other.
Thank you. Well, I can say from experience, Hardy, I've dealt with at least 3 other women that work for you, and they all have been very professional, courteous, very positive. You can just tell in their voice when they talk to you. You do have a great staff that works for you.
Thanks, sir. I appreciate that.
Thanks. Let's throw this out to Andrew. Andrew, has limitations that COVID has presented helped you really hone in on what's most important in building relationships?
I really think it's been difficult. So, this is a prime example of the fact that everyone on this call is in a different room. We're not together. We're not able to have that sense of community in person. And so that's really been a challenge, both from a business perspective as well as from a personal and an emotional perspective. So, you know, the positivity and the support that the chamber provides, I think has really been fantastic. I think it has been really forced or allowed, either way, people and businesses to focus on relationships, on making sure that they're communicating and having conversations with their trusted partners. You know, as a banker, I've had an opportunity to grow a lot of relationships with a lot of people, even further than we had in, you know, once upon a time before COVID was dominating the landscape. So, you know, really focusing on making sure that we're communicating, that we're having conversations and that building that relationship. It's like Hardy was saying, it's certainly intentional, but it really has been a good opportunity for people to deepen those relationships, and to grow those relationships.
Thank you. Deanna?
Yeah, when you first asked the question, as Hardy was starting to talk, the word that popped in my head was intentional. I think we've all had to really be thoughtful and intentional about keeping relationships, continuing to grow relationships, figure out how to connect with new people, and doing things like this with the chamber, I think, is just a great example of it. We also, and many people have really had to be very intentional about the relationships with their team. We've talked a couple times about Hardy's team and how fantastic they are, and we all love Margie. But it is a different challenge. I found I love working from home, but it is more of a challenge in terms of, you know, how you keep your team connected as well, because you've got to be able to do that to keep delivering to your clients. And that comes back to being thoughtful about it, being intentional about it, and make sure that you're doing those things. So whether it's internal to your team or external relationships, you just have to put more thought and energy into, how can I do this? How can I teach someone to do a Zoom call if they've never done a Zoom call? And just get people used to the new world. Like, this has become normal for us, but it's because we have intentionally decided that we need to do things like this to keep connections to people.
Thank you. Elias?
Yeah, I don't know if I really have any additional, I guess, insights from what's all been said. I mean, it seems like everybody's, you know, tuned it up, and intentionality is kind of the word that I went to on that too. And I guess the only thing that I would add, if anything, is what I kind of realized at the very beginning of this, and I know, you know, when you're working with partnership, you're looking for referrals. I mean, a lot of it's, you're going about it all, you know, a lot of the same way, right? You're going for the ask, you're looking for the referral or connection, etc. But what I found is that the most impactful thing that we could have done during this point in time is just reaching out to saying and asking somebody, how are you doing? How are things going? Right? Are you surviving all this? Or is, you know, what is it that you need? You know, one of the big things that I did for my team is, you know, when we got about, you know, a month into it, I sent them all gift certificates to be able to go out and, you know, in order in food to local restaurants that I knew that was favorite. Right. So just something just to kind of keep that connection, not solely just around business, but more from that personal standpoint of just reaching out and just saying, hey, thinking of you, making sure you're okay. You know, hey, I got someone to drop off at your house or whatever that may be. And I think that was truly one of the most impactful things, but it goes back to what Hardy and Deanna were saying about the intentionality of the touch. So that's really it. You guys answered that question tremendously.
Thank you. Well, we are running out of time. I will say that I've also had the pleasure of working with Missy, a referral sent over to her and the customer raved about her. He didn't talk about Millard Roberts, where she worked at. He talked about her, and that's it. And that's value. That's what you want to talk about. People talking about you, and not about just your business. And I think we need to wrap it up. And I'm gonna thank the panelists, Deanna, Elias, Missy, Hardy, Andrew, and I'm gonna send it back over to Joan.
Thanks, Daryl, and thank you, Deanna. Thanks also to our panel and, of course, to our audience. Each segment within this series is recorded, including this one on office settings, and a link can be found on the Chamber's website. Biz to Biz Adapting to Change will continue on Monday, August 3rd, with the focus on restaurants. It will be sponsored by ServPro. To learn more or to register or to sign up for the Chamber's upcoming in-person luncheon at Greenbrier on Tuesday, August 11th, which will be limited to 50 attendees, and it'd be great for us to be a capacity crowd, please visit us at kirkwooddepere.com. On behalf of the Kirkwood DePere Area Chamber, thank you for your commitment to our community.